Hi there, Andrew here. I love to be entertained, but I have no patience, so I give every new show I watch only one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Today I will be watching the very first episode of Batwoman! I don't have much to say about this, because there's no show description on the CW's website. I guess what more do you need to know? It's Batwoman. She's a superhero doing superhero-y things. My only concern is I saw Supergirl, the first episode of Supergirl, and I thought it was plumb terrible. I think it's in like its fifth season now, so I guess it got better. Or I have no taste in quality television. I like superheroes. I like the Batman area of superhero business in which Batwoman squarely falls. So, yeah, Batwoman. Let's give it a watch. It's really, really okay. It's fine. Nothing really wrong with it. It's not terribly compelling, or it doesn't have anything that really grabs me. I mean, the set design is fine. The performances are fine. The action is fine. The fight choreography is fine. Everything's fine. The characters are fine. Nothing really stood out to me. There was no single element of this show that made me say, "Ooh, that's neat." And it's there are a bunch of things I didn't feel really worked. For example, this, at least this first episode, relies very heavily. Its exposition relies very heavily on both narration by the main character and flashbacks, copious flashbacks. Often flashbacks to the same flashback that you just flashbacked to. Granted, the scene is expanded upon, but it felt like it cut back to the same basic flashback 3 times. I could totally be wrong. It might have only been twice, but the flashbacks felt repetitive. So, not that it doesn't work for expositional purposes, it's just a little clunky. It breaks the flow. I think it could have been handled better. Hey, the lead in this show, Ruby Rose is her name. Is that your real name? Because that's a pretty cool name. She was in one of the John Wick movies. And her character was kind of a nothing character. She didn't really do much. Felt underutilized. Nice to see that she has more to work with here. It's interesting. I have a very nitpicky mind. Small things stick out to me. That's just the way my mind works. And it's funny what my mind will go, oh, comic book, I'll excuse that. And what my mind won't excuse. For example, here's the basic setup. So Batman is gone missing. So to fill the bat-shaped void, a new organization called the Crows has been formed. And it's just a security force. But the premier Gotham security force. And so 3 years after Batman gone missing, They're going to finally turn off the bat signal, which I guess they've just had running for 3 years. Okay. Even during the day? Nah, I don't know, but they're finally okay. We're gonna give up on Batman. We're gonna move on with our lives. We're gonna take our destiny into our own hands, and shut off the bat signal. And we're gonna have a big party. So they have this big, hoity-toity, expensive meet and greet where a bunch of rich people are all gathered around, and they're gonna televise the whole thing and shut off the bat signal. And they've got this Crow's security force all over the place. They're in the crowd, they're around the perimeter, they're on the rooftop, the rooftop, the rooftop, the rooftop. They're everywhere except at the actual bat signal, where just some rent-a-cop-esque security guard, 2 of them, are going to go turn the thing off. That seems like a fairly large security hole. Like, gosh, golly gee willikers, guys. The one place at the turn off the bat signal event you forgot to staff with your security experts was the bat signal that we're turning off at the turn off the bat signal event. Like the rooftop that the bat signal is sitting on, there are no security guys there, anywhere, at all. Weird. I found that kind of hard to... That took me out of the show. I'm like, wait, what? And it's like they don't have... The villain, comes up, and she kills the 2 security guards, and she talks on the camera... And haha, I'm bad guy, I monologue. None of the Crows, this premier security force, are anywhere near this rooftop because the villain has the time to casually strut across the rooftop, kill the guys, monologue into the camera for a minute, and then walk away. That's how far away they were. That's how abandoned this place was. I'm afraid I cannot suspend my disbelief quite that far. A lot of things like that stuck out to me. Some other things like Batwoman, or Cassandra Cain, although they call her Kate Cain in this for whatever reason. She's the daughter of the dude who runs Crows. So she's not part of the Crows. She's just kind of hanging around, kid at work, right? And so she breaks into Wayne Enterprises and uses the security feed to find footage of the one kidnapped security guard. The one Crow's person gets kidnapped. Because apparently Wayne Enterprises has a private citywide security feed. Oh, okay, that's weird, but sure, fine. I'll swing with that. So she breaks into Wayne Enterprises, steals that stuff, takes it to Daddy, and Daddy says, okay, we analyze evidence in the thingy, so let's go get him. Kate, where are you? Well, golly gee willikers, she got a 5-second head start, which means that she gets there like an hour before everyone else. So she gets to the bad guy's location, she gets beat up, she gets captured, she gets monologued to, she gets beat up again. And then Crows show... Did they all take a lunch? That's weird to me. Like, they seem to be kind of gung-ho, we're gonna go now. I mean, at best, she would have been there 15 seconds before them. Whatever. So, the kidnapped Crows person is on top of a giant building. It's a giant building. It's just a building. It's like 20 floors up. So the bad guy puts the kidnapped person on a plank that's sticking out of the side of the building. So one false move and she falls to her death, right? The kidnapped person. Now, the kidnapped person is bound hand and foot and gagged. And she's standing at the end of a 2x4. Now, my thought watching this is, how did they get her out there? Because she's bound at the hands and ankles. Did they use a winch to lower her? How did they actually get her into position? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just wondering how they did it, because that seems really difficult. But, you know, that's the kind of comic booky stuff that I don't really mind. But some of the other stuff just really bothered me. Now, I didn't dislike the show. I thought it was fine. And it could end up being great. I mean, it really depends on where it goes from here. Will I keep watching? No, probably not. Although that's less the show's fault and more I'm not in the mood to commit to an actual TV series. And again, there was nothing grossly wrong, but no single element really jumped out at me or that I felt the show excelled at. Again, everything is just fine. There's nothing in it that I found great. Which, admittedly, tough to do in a first episode. Not a ton of shows that get that just knock the first episode out of the park. This has the foundation for something that could be good. Or it could be mediocre, or it could be terrible. Who knows? I probably won't see, but maybe you will. And maybe you'll, some far-flung day in the future when this is on season 6, you will tweet at me, at Andrew Eisen, and say, "Hey, Andrew, you watched the first episode of Batwoman. You should have kept watching, dude, because it's really good. You're missing out." And I'll say, "Oh."